This particular story was shared on Twitter, and yes, you can call it a scene on Twitter, as we will read the story to you.
Yes.
And let's know what you think. Some people think it's born out of ignorance, and just because you might be wondering what we are talking about, definitely we'll display the tweet right there on the screen so you can see what we are talking about. And this particular story is tagged death at 7 a.m. And it says, at a hospital's intensive care unit, that's ICU, patients always pass away in the same bed at 7 a.m. every morning, regardless of their condition. Now, this situation puzzled medical staff, so a group of medical doctors decided to observe the bed in secret and waited, right? And they waited for the fateful hour. Some held crosses and prayer books to ward off evil influences, while the less superstitious ones held cameras, tablets, smartphones to capture every moment of this hour. At exactly 7 a.m., the door to the ward slowly opened, and behold, here we have Mama Sikira, the cleaner who usually starts her duties at 7 a.m. She came in and disconnected the life support machine from the main power source and plugged in her phone charger. If you think education is expensive, try ignorance. Definitely. Like, reading this story, at the beginning when I read and I saw death at 7 a.m., I was also shocked that what exactly would take the lives of people at 7 a.m. in the same ward, on the same bed? So I would not blame the doctors that went in with cameras, some that went in with crosses, because I'm sure they've had several occurrences and no one can actually explain
what's going on.
So it was only right that they tried to observe what exactly goes on at 7 a.m. And behold, we have Mama Sikira, who has, I don't know if, but I would say she had clueless idea.
She didn't know she was doing something wrong.
Exactly. She didn't know that removing, because I don't think you'd intentionally remove a life support
to charge your phone. What?
That is plain ignorance. There is nothing else to say than plain ignorance. And that is why we always say that what you know what you know will not kill you, but you see what you don't know will kill you, take you to prison, destroy everybody around you most of the time. So it is best that you try, like, even if when you are not sure, when in doubt, ask questions. I'm sure if she has
don't.
And moreover, if she had done it the first time, you realize that you plugging your phone and removing the life support took the life of this person. At first, you did it the second time, you did it the third time. Shouldn't you know that there's something you're doing wrong?
That someone's life was lost in the process.
Obviously, when you remove a life support, you would definitely hear some beeping sound, or there would be a sign that there's something wrong. And for you to know that it is every point you plug in your phone and remove the life support that there's a news of someone dying in the same ward. Yes, we would not be having this conversation alone this morning. Let's join Suleiman Hussaini to talk about the importance of education and exposure, as some people see this case of Mama Sikira as she not being exposed or educated about what a life support machine is. Let's have Suleiman. Good morning, Suleiman.
Yeah, good morning. Can you hear me?
Yeah, yes, we can. Good to have you on the show this morning.
Yeah, good to have thank you for having me.
All right. So let's talk about the importance of education and exposure. How important is it in reference to the story of Iya Sikira? And yes, of the picture that we talked about earlier about a child on the street not attending school.
Excuse me, sir. You cannot undermine the purpose of education. Education is actually meant to make people better citizens. Well, let me use the word the exposure itself. Even though the exposure itself means to something to be revealed.
Okay.
Yeah. So education and exposure go hand in hand. So you're educated, you go through either formal education or informal education. So you get exposed to being a good member of society. right? So you go to university, for instance, that's formal education.
Yeah.
So you're taught things that have to do with life, not just about graduate and then get a job. Yeah, because the purpose of university education is for you to be universally educated.
Yes.
Right? Good. So they've been exposed to things that should make you a global citizen, as it were. Okay, so that is exposure in itself.
Yes.
And then you cannot detach the two, and they're very, very important. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so when it comes to this particular story, I want to be direct now. Who do you think should be blamed? Should we blame the woman, that's Mama Sikira, or we should blame the person that employed her, the employers?
To be honest, the first time I got the story itself, the first thing that came to my mind was an issue of negligence on the part of the organization that employed her. Yeah. So by the time I came on and I was following the conversation, yeah, I just said, well, they've nailed it already, because you don't employ someone who is incompetent and put in a sensitive place like an ICU. Yes. No, and I think it's something that is not really common in our part of the world. That's Nigeria now. We don't take issue of training serious. Training in itself is exposure also, but what we call informal education now. So that means you're hired for the job, and then you're given training on what you're expected to do in the job. So I expected the organization, when they hired Mama Sikira, they should have given her the required training for the job. And the required training doesn't have to be something big and above her educational status. Yeah, it could be as simple as walking her through what are the things in that room. This machine, you can even use the language you understand. Yeah. If you remove this is the implication. When you come in the morning, so the things you're supposed to do, clean point A, B, C, you stop there. Don't go this way. Don't touch this. It's as simple as that. That's what the training should be. We take cleaning to be a menial job, we don't know that there's a certain of expertise that goes into even cleaning itself. What kind of agents you use to clean that particular room? So the organization should be blamed. And what I discovered is that quite a lot of organizations are culpable of this. Yeah, because they don't want to give their staff the informal exposure required for the job. Now, in the case of the young lady with the baby, there are two things there. One is that she was educated, and that means she was given sex education, and then she just make wrong choices. Or she happened to come from a background that she couldn't get that education. It's one of two. But I think most somehow you get information about sex education, whether from the media or from the church, or let me just say religious settings, right? Yeah, or family gathering. So that's what we refer to as agents of socialization. I'm showing your basic studies. You know that agents of socialization. So you get to learn some of these
things.
Yeah.
Okay. So is it possible that you are educated and you were not exposed? And if it is, how then do you acquire both education and being exposed?
No, you see, it's a bit dicey. You could say being like going to school and you're not educated. In fact, I've seen persons who have gone to school, but school never went through them. It's sad, and also that's where our education system needs to be revamped also because you have quite a lot of these issues. Let me tell you for free, it's possible someone who has a degree certificate will commit the same error Mama Sikira made without being given the proper training for the job. Yes. So I've seen people who went through school, but they are not educated. In fact, let me even start with this. Maybe you will have experiences with customer services in some organizations in Nigeria, banks especially. You think those guys who sit behind the desk when you enter the bank, you think they are not educated or they don't have a degree or even masters. But you see the way they execute the job, so poor customer service. Why? Because they were not given the proper education on how to treat a customer. You don't talk to customers as if they are riffraffs. No, you talk to them with respect. When you have the knowledge that there are 1 naira or 2 naira that's been saved in that bank, some part of what you're paid at the end of the month, or those customers are very important to the life of that organization. So you see, that is where the education becomes very important. So it's not about having a degree, certificates at the end of your passing university, but what you do with it. And let me just mention, exposure doesn't necessarily have to do with maybe traveling out of the country or because I know some persons when you mention exposure, the person that travel out of a country, let's say travel out of Nigeria to a country like UK or Canada, America, then you see how things are done different, and then they tell you you are not exposed. That is why no, that's not to do with that. Yes, because I've met people here who have never traveled out of. Yes, here in the UK now, I've met people who have never traveled. Let me even just travel to the closest country, France. They've never traveled. But why do they do what they do? Why? Because they take the issue of training very serious. Yes, so you're given a job. You take the first 4 weeks to go through intensive training. Well, depending on the organization, it might be 2 weeks, might be 4 weeks, 6 weeks, depending on the part of the organization. But you're given proper training on what the job entails. Yes, so that when you commit an offense or you see you're ignorant, for example, there's someone who is a cleaner, like Mama Sikira, here, you need proper training on the job, how you're to clean, what agents or what cleaning agents you're to use, the time you're to come in, where you should go to, who you should report to, and then most importantly, health and safety measures. So in that case, like that of Mama Sikira, she wasn't taught anything about health and safety. Because if you're taught health and safety, you know that you're not supposed to even go close to an electric switch.
Okay.
Yes, so you don't just go plug something because you feel like, okay, I want to charge my phone.
Okay. You know, okay, so it's good that you even shed more light on that conversation. Because I know I wanted a conversation with someone about talking about if you're educated, does that mean you're exposed? And if you're exposed, does that mean you're educated? Okay, so but I want to change this conversation back to ignorance and being educated. If ignorance is actually an excuse, you know, because the world is a global village. I mean, and we have the internet, so you can learn anything you want to have all the information that you have. And I know that yes. Well, Sikira is more like a very different case, you know, because it seems like she knows absolutely nothing, you know, for her to be able to remove the life support and charge her phone, you know. So, what if in a case where she had been told, not to charge her phone there, and then she still went ahead to do it, probably because she didn't know, they didn't say the reason why she should not charge her phone. Can she still be prosecuted, or should she still be prosecuted?
you know, by the time I saw someone made a comment there, and which I agree with the person. I can't remember the name, but the person talked about ignorance is not an excuse.
Yeah.
Don't go to the court of law and tell the judge, "Oh, I didn't know." There's something like I did not know. Yeah, you must know.
Okay.
So that means, like someone also mentioned, two persons are culpable here: the organization itself
Yes.
and Mama Sikira.
Secure yourself.
Yes, there's no ignorance does not even hold water here.
Okay.
Yeah, doesn't hold water here.
Okay, so now to wrap up this conversation, what are the underlying drivers for educational attainment?
What are the okay, now let me just mention this. Education in itself, for me, I don't think it's about the quantity.
Okay.
Now I'll choose my words carefully. Yeah, so the quality is what is important. There's something I must mention that I've learned in just a short period of time around. Yeah, so it's not about having now. There's nothing wrong in having a degree or having a master's degree, PhD. Yeah, you can have those attainments, right? Because one of the baseline for educational attainment is that drive, that ambition in an individual to want to better him or herself, right? But it is not so much about the level, but the quality of what you get. So even if you have a first degree, yes, you should be able to do the job. Even if it is a secondary school, you should be able to do the job.
Yes.
Yes. So what you're done or what should be done for you is to give you the basics you need, like maths, English, and all those other subjects that should help you have your footing in society to understand basic arithmetic skills, English for communication, then social studies, studies, and all of those things. Yeah, so just to give you the foundation. So if the quality is at that point, so you have better members of society. So having to get a degree or a master's degree or a PhD is just for you to become a better person. So the major drive for education should be the quality
Of the education.
the quality of the education, because that will determine the kind of people we have in society. And let me mention, English, speaking English is not the same thing as being educated. Yeah, because I've met people who say you're educated and you cannot speak English. That doesn't hold water. Yeah, so being educated is to know the things you expect. But let me even mention it before you want to end the conversation, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Basic things like knowing your rights in the constitution is very important.
Okay.
Let me tell you this. You find a lot of Nigerians that don't know their left or right, don't know the constitution, they don't know what is expected of them, they don't know nothing. So how do you become a better member or a citizen of Nigeria when you don't understand what you're expected to do
Yeah, as a citizen.
in the constitution? That itself, education. So when they flout they go to court and here I do not know, or was the devil's hand, which doesn't hold water at all.
I mean, we don't
Yes.
know what's in the court of law. I mean. But thank you so much, Susain Usman, Suleiman Hussein. Thank you so much for joining this conversation and shedding more light on the topic that we have, talking about ignorance and education. Have a lovely day.
Same here. Thank you very much for having me.
Bye.
Bye.